Hello everybody, and get some booms in the chat for the playthrough for Pro Division with the tournament win in the Coast to Coast tournament. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. And before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also visit golfclashtommy.com for more Golf Clash related content. You can become a master in this game and get the best tournament text guides on the market by becoming a patron. Link to patreon.com/golfclashtommy is directly in the description down below. Me personally like this tournament. It's because you don't get anything for free. We can't try green. We have to lay up. We have to play with our short irons, with our wood club to try to get some drops. But I will provide for you several drops where we have drops on hole 2, hole 4 and hole 6. We also have plenty of close ones when it comes to the par 3s. And the only one that we are just playing for the eagle is hole number 9. Hole 8 is actually interesting, where I'm going to provide you with a rough bump that's going to be good. I think we're gonna get something to drop there. In the end, let's watch. Make sure you comment in the comment section below if you do have any questions. And let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1, we're going to play with the sniper here, and it doesn't have to be a sniper level 10, please have that in mind. First, we're looking to find a consistent landing spot, and that way we're going to look for the blue ring by the bunker. At the same time, we do have the white ring by the rough to the right, like the outside of it. And the reason we are trying to find that position is to try to be able to replicate that one in an easier way, because otherwise we don't really have that many references here. I'm using 4 bars of a backspin and I'm using 1 bar of a left spin here. Adjustment that I'm doing is a maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, but I would like us to play with a 20% over adjustment instead. You can see speed-wise we're coming in very, very nicely, but we missed that one to the left of the pin, and therefore we want to play with a 20% over adjustment, which is only a couple of decimals a difference. So we do come in on the right side, so we can find that little roll towards the pin. Very good chance for a hole-in-one, and here a navigator ball is enough. You don't have to spend any better ball here, because I personally think that would be a waste when we can come around and do a nice shot with a navigator. For hole number 2, we're going to start with a driver that gives us distance. Sure, we can play with the quarterback, but then we will have to push up our target in the end, and I want us to stay away from that. So I'm using 4.5 bar topspin and 1 bar right side spin, and I do think we should be changing this one to stay away from the right spin and just move our target so we do have the ball guideline a little bit more left on the fairway. Navigator ball, that's the only thing that is needed here. So those of you thinking about spending, or those of you that are thinking about, okay, we should maybe be playing with, Kingmaker Titan instead, you don't have to. Play with a navigator ball, and the thing that this shot does is that it does clip the rough just barely, but roll out nicely there for an opportunity. But again, stay away from the right spin, move your target more left from the start, so you can start more at the left side of the fairway to be in between the rough lines there at the top. Very, very important. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. Do not push up. The thing that happens here is that we are getting a very nice opportunity with our, short iron. I'm saying short iron because you don't have to play with a thorn. Hornet or Falcon will be as equally good and do well. Ball guideline to the hole, and if you do have the thorn level 7 with its ball guideline, leave it a little short. If you do have the thorn level 8 or 9, then you have the ball guideline to the hole, because then you have a better ball guideline. Minus 10%, and it's very important that you do measure towards like what club distance you are in. In this case, I do medium distance, but depending on a longer drive or a shorter drive, that will change. So you need to stretch out and look for that. But the beauty part with this is that we do have a very good win for the second shot, right at pin for an eagle on hole 2, which is, in my opinion, going to be a must if you're going to have something to do with winning this tournament. For hole number 3, we are just going to position ourselves as close to the top possible without obviously rolling into the rough. Because I have a plan here, and the plan is gonna be something that I hope you're going to not maybe recognize, but gonna like as much as I do. Because this is a hole that is a par 5, because it's a hole 3 par 5. And the thing that is with this one is that we cannot reach for the green in 2, no matter how hard we're trying. So now we need to find the best possible shot, like the best possible third shot, to try to get ourselves an eagle from distance. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. I'm using topspin here to get myself as close to the rough line. And bear in mind, again, you don't have to be super close. You can leave yourself a little room like I'm doing there. Because otherwise you might, if you roll into the rough, that's gonna be difficult then to get back from. So now for the second shot, we're going to lay up with our sniper using 4 bars of backspin. And now we're going to play on the left-hand side. And you might think that's extremely strange because we normally don't do that. But again, I have a plan. 4 bars backspin, make sure that you take a look at the top of the ball guideline so you notice that the ball will not go too far. And then you adjust with no elevation and make sure to check your club distance. And it's going to be medium distance most of the time. But it's always important that you check your club distance so make sure that you adjust for the correct numbers. Third shot, we're going to go for the rough bump. But look, this rough bump here has a funnel. And this funnel is lovely and something that I hope you're going to see as a great opportunity as I do. You see you can wiggle back and forth, but notice at the tip of the ball guideline it does not move outside the hole, which means that we have a little bit of room for error. Ball guideline just to the hole, and then you can see the yellow ring that I'm having on my sniper should be just above, like the bottom part of the yellow ring, just above the bunker. So the spin is going to be adapted from the position. Now the second shot, we are the way that I'm adjusting here, I'm adjusting it for medium distance plus 0.1 ring. But that plus 0.1 definitely destroyed the eagle here. We're coming in very, very nicely and we just barely missed that one on the right hand side. You might think this shot is scary, but with a sniper, which is a high, 100% accurate club, then a great ball should still be fine, even if you hit great left and great right. But if you even then feel uncomfortable with the adjustment that you're gonna do, you play on the right hand side, you try to, you try to lay up for a long iron towards the pin or a short iron towards the pin. But trust me, if you're gonna try to get a consistent eagle on hole number 3, the rough bump is the better one to dial in. For hole number 4, we are going to take the advantage of the tailwind, meaning that we do not need to play with anything else than a katana here. I'm playing katana for the power 2, using 3 bars of side spin to the right. You can see that I'm using like 3.5 bar top spin. We don't want to go too far. We obviously don't want to clip the tree or go into the rough. So we need to be very, focused on this drive here. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. And with an extra mile, you are going to push this shot up 2 rings in the end. If you're playing with an Apocalypse level 5 plus, you're going to push up 1 ring in the end because you have a different type of distance on your club, or like power, which is the name of the stat. And hit a perfect ball, the ball is going to bounce over to the other fairway, leaving yourself up for a short iron towards the pin. As I said as well, 10% over adjustment, and we do max distance numbers. Second shot, short iron towards the pin, and here it is a big advantage for those of you playing with a short iron that gives you an above 4.0 ball guideline. Now we do have like a 3.8, 3.9 ball guideline, if I'm not mistaken, to try to play with. Here I'm using half a bar of a backspin, and I want to ensure that my tip of the ball guideline is pointing slightly to the right side of the pin. And the reason for that is because the green slightly slopes to the left, which you cannot really see when you don't have a good ball guideline, like with the Thorn level 7. No elevation whatsoever, and we're playing this one medium distance numbers. And you can see we bounce nicely on the fringe there and roll in for a nice little eagle here on hole number 4. For hole number 5, we're going to play with the Saturn. Why do we play with the Saturn? It's because we do want to play with backspin. And here I'm looking to play with 6 backspin. And you will also notice that I'm playing this one with without any side spin whatsoever. I have a hard time to decide myself, as you can see there, using the spin. And now we're gonna change and go 6 backspin, and we are looking at the bottom part of the yellow ring by the circle, like the, is it called the circled fringe line there, but at least at the corner of the green at plus a 3-yard mark. And when we have done that, we're going to adjust maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment and take our shot. The thing that we could consider to do is to remove a little bit of backspin of our shot, because now the ball comes a little bit short and we need to get a little bit higher up for the ball to fall down towards the pin. You may wonder why I choose a Saturn and backspin instead of bouncing with the Goliath. It's due to the easier way to replicate the landing position. If we are bouncing with a Goliath or with a Grizzly or B-52, we're always going to struggle to find the initial aim point. Therefore, the Saturn is going to be better by using the backspin and using the right side of the green and its slope. For hole number 6, we're playing the left-hand side. And I know I have been a bit harsh towards the left-hand side, but this is going to be the better one to play here, with the best opportunity here from distance. Maximum distance of our club with a power 3 ball. And I'm playing with a Kingmaker to reduce the wind and make the drive a little bit easier than if we would be having, obviously, a higher type of wind. Now I'm using side spin to the left. I'm also using top spin, and have in mind that we do want to use as maximum 4.5 bar top spin here, so we don't go too far. The ball is going to go into this bowl-like type of fairway area. We're going to sit nicely at 375 yards, maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment. Second shot, we play without any elevation to play for, and here there is a little funnel there by the green that we're going to try to catch. But if you don't catch it, then obviously we're going to go with the ball guideline to the hole. Make sure when we do have a tailwind here, playing with such a long first bounce as we're doing, make sure to go a little short of pin here, because otherwise you will come in way too hot. And now we are approximately 2 green squares short of pin, and I would even stretch it to be even 3 green squares short of pin. Playing this one without elevation, in between medium and maximum distance, which is also 75% of your club if you're using any form of slider. The ball is going to bounce on the fairway, comes onto the green, and even though we come in a little hot, we hit the pin and we get the albatross. That's why we need to leave it a little shorter than we had, so we're not risking to just bounce in and out if we don't hit the pin. Good albatross here. For hole number 7, we're going to play a quarterback rough bump, and here we are going to first and foremost apply 2 bars of top spin and 4.5 bar side spin to the left. That's a starting point for us, and now we're looking to get the ball guideline straight at the pin, but I would even stretch it to this, move it so it is at the left side of the cup, and you're gonna notice why. Once we have found that position, we are adjusting medium distance with no elevation, which is 5.7 rings. And then once we're done, we're just going to take our shot. The thing that we do need to have in mind here, that the more wind we're having, the further down we're going to adjust. So I would like you to keep yourself playing with a wind that is around 6 miles per hour, meaning that you're going to change between Kingmaker and Titan to get yourself to be around 6 miles per hour. Because once again, if we have a 4 miles per hour, we're not going to adjust as far back as we do with a 6. Therefore, we are most likely going to hit the rough further up and then gonna go long. If we do have a higher wind than 6.5, we're going to most likely go short, because we're going to adjust further back into the rough due to those elevation problems. So make sure to follow that tip and you're gonna do well. For hole number 8, we are not going to go with a power hook here. I'm actually going to make it even more simplified for you, with still a good chance for an eagle on this very tough hole. First, 4.5 bar side spin to the left and 1 bar of top spin. If you play with extra mile level 8, you are going to push this swap in the end. We're going to push it up 1 ring. If we do have an extra mile level 7 or level 6 or below, we're going to push that one up 2 rings instead. A little bit of curl to the left, not much, and we adjust with a maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, and we're going to roll very nicely down to the fairway, getting us to around 371 mark. Now, for the second shot, we have 2 options. One, we bounce before the rough and, you know, bounce just up towards the pin as normal. And for those of you that do want to take the safe birdie with a smaller, little chance for an eagle, then you do so. For those of you that do want to be more aggressive and play definitely for an eagle, you are going to play this one with 3 top spin, a little bit of left spin, but the most importantly is that you are lining the ball guideline with the pin. And then you adjust, as we do here, we adjust max with no elevation whatsoever. No push up, no pull back, nothing like that. We're just going to adjust that and we're going to take our shot. And a perfect ball. And you're going to see we're going to bounce into the rough just nicely. And we are just barely missed that one on the left hand side, but come in with a nice speed. So up to you how you want to do, but I feel personally, when we have such a nice shot here with the sniper, then, you know, the pushing the drive harder with a power hook might be a bit too much to complicate it. But, however, I will be providing throughout the week a power hook for those of you that do want or feel uncomfortable with, you know, I guess a general easy drive. So don't be sad about it, bear with me, but it will take a couple of days before we get there. Also have in mind, if you do have a lower level sniper, then you might have to go with a slight bit of overpower if you're gonna do the rough bump, and then I would instead recommend to bounce on the fairway before up towards the pin. For hole number 9, we are going to play on the left-hand side, bouncing on the fairway and gaining as much distance possible without obviously rolling into any form of a rough. And here, if you do have a club with 6 bars of topspin, use that one. And therefore, I'm changing to the Apocalypse level 4 to get 6 bars. What do you do if you don't have a club with 6 bars of topspin? Then you will have to use the driver that gives you the most topspin after that, which is going to be 4.5 bars. With most likely an extra mile. Okay, so we do have a little bit of tailwind. We adjust maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment. No curl whatsoever. And as I said in the beginning, just try to get as far down as possible. Bouncing on the fairway, and then we get this ball nicely down there to the other piece of fairway. You could maybe push it with an extra bar of topspin, but honestly, I don't think that should be necessary. The thing that we do need to think about though is that the second shot is going to be difficult. We are going to play this one to bounce over the bunker, so we're going to use overpower. Make sure that you use 3 to 4 bars of backspin, so you do make sure that when you bounce over the bunker that you're gonna stop. Doesn't really matter where you stop, but this is, in my opinion, no albatross hole, especially due to the slight little headwind that we're having for the second shot. What could you do to maybe get yourself into a better spot after the drive? You could play with a power 5 win 2 ball if you have invested in some type of special ball. Otherwise, you know, try to keep yourself light, playing with Titan, playing with Kingmakers, you know, so you don't have to play special balls, and focus on getting the drops on the other holes, because this one, frankly, it's not really a good opportunity. No elevation for the second shot, and we're playing with the wood club that gives us the most distance, Big Dog or the Cataclysm. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Pro Division with the win that we're having in the tournament. Hopefully you got some good ideas and some good notes from this playthrough. Make sure that you do get the best guides on the market, the ultimate tournament text guides that will be updated every single day throughout the tournament. Patreon.com/golf-tommy, link in the description down below for all our packages. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Make sure to join our Discord. Link to Discord is also in the description down below. And don't forget to comment if you do have any questions. Good luck in the tournament.